Hello, my name is Dr. Reveau Root. I'm the superintendent of Camden Central Schools. I'm going to take my mask off because we're socially distanced. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone today. Last week we canvassed our parents and our faculty and our staff for questions that they had about our reopening. And we received many questions, and we went through as an administrative team and we sort and organize them by theme, and then we identified the essential key questions that we know people want answers to. Today you will hear a video parents will hear a video at the elementary, middle, and high school level in which we will go through and answer these essential questions that you have shared with us. We also received questions from faculty and staff, and we have a video for faculty and staff. It's important for us to put information out to our public as well as our faculty and staff. We're going to continue to do that through Parent Square, through our Facebook sites, as well as through our webpage. And I know that our principals have created a frequently asked question form that will be going out soon, and on Monday for faculty and staff, if you'd like to join me in a live town hall virtual meeting, we'll send out more information about that in the next few days, but you'll be able to join me at 4 p.m. This Monday for a live virtual meeting in which you'll be able to share written questions with me, and I'll answer those live right in front of you. And then at 5 p.m. We will have another live virtual meeting in which parents will be able to write questions, to send questions to me live, and I'll answer them live. And that will be right at 5 p.m. on Monday, and more information will come out about those meetings and how to participate over the next few days. The first question that I'm going to address is, why can't students come into school every day of the week? And that's a common question. I do want our residents to know that we started out trying to identify a plan where we could bring in all of our students. We looked at our pre-K through 4. We felt that there was the greatest need for students to be in at that level and every single day. And so we looked at our staffing, and of course you know by the regulations we really, in order to socially distance students in the class sizes that we have to bring in half of our students. Bringing in half of our students means that we have to have an additional space and an additional teacher. Now, pre-K through 4, we have 39 core classroom teachers. And so we look to repurpose our staff and see if we could double the amount of classroom teachers, or at least come close, so that we could disperse the students accordingly and bring them in every day. We have 9 AIS and early intervention teachers, pre-K through 4, that are certified in K through 6 or 1 through 6 elementary certification to teach. And so we ended up 30 teachers short. Now, this is a very fiscally conservative community. The Board of Education and the superintendents before me, along with myself, have always taken a fiscally conservative approach to our budgets. And so we do not have 30 teachers sitting around that we could just simply bring in and go ahead and bring in all of our students. So as much as it is to our dissatisfaction, we have to play by the rules and regulations given to us, and that is why we can't bring in all of our students every day right away.
So one of the questions that came back from teachers was, how will students be screened, or when will they be screened daily? And what is going to occur is, when the student goes to enter the bus or get on the bus, their temperature will be taken by the bus driver. If the student maintains below 100 degrees, they'll be allowed to get on the bus and come to school. So that takes care of the students that are riding district transportation. The other students that are being dropped off, they will be screened at each building when they go to enter. And they too must meet that threshold of 100 degrees. If a student gets there and has a 100-degree temperature or more, they will have to go and return home and be encouraged to meet with their family physician.
It's a great segue, because the next question asks, what if protocol somebody exhibits symptoms of COVID-19 once in the building? And again, what we do when anytime we would identify a student who was ill, the nurse will take them to actually an isolated room where we will segregate them from other students who are sick. They will confirm or deny those symptoms, and if those symptoms are confirmed, the student or staff member will be sent home. Note, if as a student, we will not be able to provide district transportation due to the sanitation and regulations that we had to follow a line up with this COVID-19 virus. So parents, please, if you can, screen your child before they come to school to make sure that we do not have to pick them up during the course of the school day.
Will face coverings be required? The answer is yes, when students who are unable to social distance. So, for example, walking in the hallways, they will be required. When they're working in small groups or working with you within the classroom, when they cannot social distance, they will be required to wear their face coverings. If in the classroom they are able to be 6 feet apart, then they can take off their face coverings as long as they are socially distanced.
Teachers, what equipment or materials can be used? We're going to encourage you to limit the amount of shared materials being passed back and forth between students. It's really important to limit that. It's not prohibited. We're not discouraging you from sharing equipment, but just limit that as much as possible. All of the teachers will be provided with a disinfectant spray and cleaning towels to disinfect equipment as they see fit. And students will utilize hand sanitizer or hand washing prior to entering the learning space or using any sort of shared equipment.
There was a question about visitors, and the answer is we are going to restrict visitors to our school to either a parent picking up a child for an appointment or a parent picking up a child who is ill. There will be no presentations. We will not be allowed to have guests in the building. We do encourage you, though, to explore virtual presentations for our students.
Will students be able to work together in small groups? And the answer is yes. They will have to, abide by the social distancing of 6 feet, and if they're underneath that 6 feet, then face coverings such as these, as we're wearing, will be expected to be worn.
The next question is, will we be able to send home paper, pencil materials to students? And that answer is absolutely. Again, teachers will be able to supplement their digital experience with pen, paper, and other workbook-type materials. Every Monday, we will be delivering food for the week, and that time would be an opportune time if you have materials that need to be transported to those students. It would be a great time to make that happen.
Teachers would like to know what the role of the reading and AIS teachers would be at the elementary, and I can tell you that those reading and AIS teachers will continue to work with elementary students, but on a different course. So instead of drawing students from multiple classrooms and working together, the AIS reading teachers will work with one specific classroom at a time and not cross-contaminate from multiple classrooms.
So, for example, at Camden Elementary, Mrs. Cecil, a reading teacher, may work in second grade with just Mrs. Cooch's class in second grade, while Mrs. Petrie, another reading teacher, will work specifically only with Mrs. Daly's second grade class, again, to help with contact tracing in the event that we do have a case.
As many of you know and we're aware, extracurricular life for our students is of vital importance, and it's the hook to keep the kids coming to school. Unfortunately, though, with COVID-19, we're going to have to delay the start of these activities until sometime down in the future. We'll be reviewing the expectations from the state and working with the athletic department with the information that they get from their organization. And when we have an opportunity to open those activities, we certainly will.
Next question is, will we be able to have students work together, or will they have to work individually? Again, best practices talks about cooperative group instruction, and we certainly want to facilitate that, encourage that as much as possible. As has been mentioned before, if students cannot maintain that 6 foot of social distancing with themselves and or the teacher, they will need to put the face covering on again. But it really becomes teacher-driven, what works best for you and your students.
This next question deals with synchronous learning, and teachers are asking, are they required to do synchronous learning? They're not required to do synchronous learning. They can do synchronous learning, and they can record their lessons live. Okay? Students aren't required and will not be required to attend those live sessions, but they will be required to complete the assignments as you post them. And if that means that they have got to review the video of your lesson, then they have got to review that at a time that they can do that. especially for those students that are home on the remote learning model?
Next question is, may we send a week's worth of work home on Mondays to students who are learning remotely? And as I kind of answered that question earlier, yes, we do have a delivery system on Monday where we deliver the meals for the week. So there is that vehicle to take the instructional materials and send them out. Again, I strongly urge, as much as this could be done digitally, to do so, but I understand that there are some content areas out there that paper and pencil really does work better in some situations. So again, the vehicle is there to do that, but again, make sure that you're giving a proper balance of paper as well as the digital expectations.
The question came up about decorating classrooms. And the answer is yes. We encourage you to create a welcoming learning environment for your students, but please keep in mind that when you're decorating, items that need to be cleaned, we would try to stay away from, because obviously cleaning and disinfecting regularly is going to take a lot of work, and we want to kind of minimize that and limit that in our classroom decorations.
The next question is, how will parent-teacher conferences be held? So we're still working out the details of that, but it will likely be a combination of virtual conferences, telephone conferences, or a socially distanced in-person conference.
Our teachers asked about the protocol when we suspect that a student or a staff may have COVID-19. And Mr. Chafee answered this some. I'm just going to go over it again real quickly. We're going to be relying on our nurses. They're going to be the major component to monitoring and implementing the protocol. And if the nurses are suspect that the student may have COVID-19, they're going to reach out to the parent and tell them, strongly recommend that that parent has that student COVID-19 tested by their medical professional, or at least see their medical professional, their student health provider. The protocol is we're going to have those individuals leave the building. Like Mr. Chafee shared with you, we're not going to put the student on our transportation just because of the disinfectant and the protocols that we have for keeping our buses clean throughout the day. So we're going to rely on the parent to come pick that student up. We're going to isolate them in the building. Each of the principals have an isolation area where they're going to put that suspected student, take care of that student in the time frame that the parent or guardian can come and pick that student up, take them home. And then obviously the nursing staff is going to recommend that the parents take that student and have them COVID tested. Our teachers and staff asked about the cleaning of their rooms. We know historically our teachers have taken great pride in their rooms, and from decorating to arranging to cleaning. And I say that because I go through the buildings and I see teachers have their little wipes there, and they'll wipe down their desk and wipe down the student desk. This has always really been a practice by many of our teachers over the years, which is great. In this time of the COVID-19, we want to enhance that ability for our teachers to continue on what they've done in the past. So what we've done is we went out and we have purchased surface sanitizer. It's a chemical, Rochester Midland makes it. It's called CP64. And we're going to give every teacher a bottle of the CP64. That's a surface disinfectant. Going to have their names labeled on it, and they're going to be able to use that along with a fresh towel. We've purchased towels, thousands of towels that we're going to be supplying each classroom, each teacher on a daily basis. And what that looks like is every night the custodians will go into the teacher's room. They're going to look for the CP64 surface cleaner to see that it's full, or at least enough there for another day. They're also going to be looking for the hand sanitizer, because we're getting a bottle of hand sanitizer with every teacher's name on it that they're going to have. They're going to be looking at that, make sure that's full or adequate for the next day. And also we're looking to change out the towel. We're going to put a fresh towel in the teacher's room every day. And this is just another tool, because we know our teachers like to do this. This is another tool. If they want to utilize it, we're going to give them that tool to enhance their cleaning a little bit throughout the day. On a daily basis and a school day basis, our custodian staffs, we've developed a checklist of all of the routine detail things that need to be looked at, cleaned, sanitized in a classroom on a daily evening basis. And we're going to have our custodians, our cleaners go through touch all those surfaces, clean all those surfaces, doing all of that you expect and we expect, and they know they can do. Going to go through that, and then they're going to check off at the end of the evening that they've done this in your classroom. That just gives you a little bit of assurance that our custodians, and they always work hard, but are doing all those things that we're going to expect during this time frame. And also during the day, we're going to have a checklist. Our head custodians will have a checklist of the high frequency contact areas, and we all know what those are, from door handles to some of the bathroom areas, those kind of things, high frequency areas. And our custodians have a checklist. Randy Bajers has developed that, and they're going to go throughout the day and hit all those high traffic areas to make sure they're clean. So we've enhanced our cleaning. We've got some protocols in place. We're going to give some tools to the teachers, and we really think we can get 100% coverage throughout our buildings. Good question. Thank you.
One question that was asked, will substitutes be available? Yes. As in the past, ASAP will be used to report absences, and our substitutes will be contacted through the program. Additionally, each building will have a preferred building substitute assigned to them to start at the start of the beginning of the school year. This person will report to the building every morning to help fill gaps as needed. Substitutes will be asked to cover in-person hybrid classes. Should other coverage be needed, we will work with each individual situation as they arrive. Okay. Another question was, what should remote learning look like? Guidelines for virtual lessons will be shared with the staff through the building principals that will go into a bit more detail than what could be explained in this format, but here are some highlights. First, try to use what you've already been using. Teachers and students will have the most success with materials they are familiar with. If you can leverage your existing resources virtually, especially if you're confident in their quality, you should. Students want to relate to their teacher. It is fine to use other resources and videos to supplement your instruction, but the student will want to see you and be engaged with you in the learning, just like in your in-person classroom. Your interaction and feedback with your students is key to their success. Another point is keep it clear and simple. Do not overwhelm your students. You will feel like you need to get started right away. Slow it down. It'll be okay. You will need to take time at the start of the school year to have conversations with your students, both your hybrid and 100% remote students, on your expectations, computer etiquette for your virtual classroom, how they can reach out to you for assistance, etc., just as you would if they were sitting in your physical classroom. The remote lessons that will be delivered to students via electronic means when possible, please follow these guidelines when creating lessons. The lessons need to be available for download and upload. If possible, post multiple assignments all at one time. Then our families without Wi-Fi access need only to make one trip to the hotspot. Please do not solely rely on websites that can only be accessed with Wi-Fi. Due to limited Wi-Fi access, please include lessons which can be downloaded at a student's convenience and worked on at home. While a class check-in via technology is encouraged, as real interaction with you is best practice for building relationships, remember that not all students will be able to contact live events due to childcare or limited to no internet service. Additional opportunities should be developed to ensure that attendance or engagement is being checked. Monday should be used for teachers to prepare lessons for the next week and to check in with your remote learning students. Another question was, what are the time requirements for elementary for both hybrid and 100% learning model? For pre-K through 1, it's 1 to 2 hours per day, along with read-alouds, independent reading, art projects, music, hands-on learning, etc. For grades 2 through 4, it should be 2 to 2.5 hours per day, along with read-alouds, independent reading, writing, project-based learning, etc. Note, for the elementaries, these are the totals for the whole day, not for the subject. Of course, the follow-up next question would be, what are the time requirements for middle and high school for both hybrid and 100% models? New York State stated that the time requirement is 180 minutes of instruction per week per subject as a benchmark. Instructional experiences are not defined solely as a student's time spent in front of a teacher or in front of a screen, but time engaged in standards-based learning under the guidance and direction of a teacher. These experiences might include, but are not limited to, completing online modules or tasks, viewing instructional videos, responding to posts or instructor questions, engaging with other participants in an online or phone discussion, conducting research, doing projects, or meeting with an instructor face-to-face via an online platform or by phone. The 1,200-minute lab requirement can be met through hands-on laboratory experiences, virtual laboratory experiences, and/or a combination of virtual and hands-on laboratory experience coupled with satisfactory lab reports. The next question that came up had to do with grading. What is grading for both hybrid and 100% remote model look like? Unlike the end of 2019 through 2020, grading will be done as you have previously done before the school closure of March 2020 and will be recorded on the report card. Report cards will look the same as they did last year. Another question, will attendance for both hybrid and 100% remote models look like? Attendance or engagement tracking must be taken. School Tool is working on providing you ways to record this each day. More information will be shared with you as it gets completed. Another question was, are remote students required to learn the same curriculum as in-person students? Yes, absolutely. While the method of delivery is obviously different, the expectation is for remote and hybrid students to learn the same material. What are the requirements for students who will be home while I am instructing the in-person student? That depends on the structure of your lessons. Some teachers may choose to use the in-person time to teach the lessons, while others may use flipped classroom format, whereas students will be expected to review the lesson prior to their in-person class. The next question came, will my temperature be taken at school like the students? Staff is going to be required to do a self-check of their temperature and symptoms each day before leaving for work. Should an individual have a temperature above 100.0 Fahrenheit or answer yes to any of the questions, you are to contact your personal doctor and call in for a substitute. Next was, will there be training to help me get prepared for opening of school for safety items like how to wear a mask properly? Yes. Virtual training sessions have been prepared using Safe Schools program that will be pushed out to staff and will be completed before you work with students. This is the same program that the district used to do other required annual training like sexual harassment and bloodborne pathogens. The option to test out of each portion is available.
The question that I have is, are we allowed to work from home on the remote virtual Mondays? And the answer to that is no. All staff and all faculty will report to school on Monday. We have a lot of activity that will be going on, and so we're going to need all hands on deck every Monday. It's an opportunity for our teachers to check in with their remote students, as well as to give them feedback, and obviously to prepare the lessons for the rest of the week. And for our teacher aides, assistants, we've got lots of different things that we're going to be doing. And obviously, we're involved in serving food to families throughout the district, and so we may need some different help and support in different areas on our Mondays. But everybody will report to work on Monday. Another question that I was asked is, will I have to use my sick time should I get sick with COVID-19? Now, the New York State and the federal government have provisions to assist employees that are diagnosed with COVID-19 that allow for the continuum of their full pay during a period of quarantine up to 14 calendar days with no deduction of the employee's sick time. Now, each case may be different, and therefore you should contact your building principal, and they will contact the district office. If you have any specific questions about any other types of leave, we're more than happy to answer those questions for you in your individual circumstance and give you that information. Another question is, has the school calendar been adjusted to give us more time to prepare for the opening of school? And the answer to that is yes. Originally, we had professional development occurring with our regular opening day. We added 2 days to that. So September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we will have our staff in, and our faculty and staff, and we will have, we'll take the time we need to go through and get ready and prepare for our students. In closing, I want to thank our faculty, our staff, and our community members for having patience with us, for understanding that we've been working hard really since March, going back to the closure, and we've been preparing for a reopening, for many months. And so a lot has gone into this. We appreciate your support, and we're going to continue to do the best we can to provide the most educationally sound program for all of our students, as well as making it as safe as possible. For more information, feel free to go to our website and look at the telephone numbers of our different buildings, and feel free to call our buildings with questions. Our email addresses are there. You can email us, and of course, don't forget, if you're a Camden faculty or staff member, look for the information to join us on Monday at 4 p.m. for the live town hall meeting with myself. And if you're a parent, look for that information for that live town hall meeting on Monday at 5 p.m. Thank you very much, and have a great day.